you know, things feel pretty good with the team. Still using the exact same team that I have on my YouTube channel as well. It's a Palkia Zacian core, very bulky max HP on Palkia, max HP on Zacian, very specially bulky Thunderous set. Just getting right into it. Alright, here at the first battle, we're just a couple away. I think, honestly, if we win, you know, 2 or 3 in a row, we can get up to Master Ball today. But it's a Groudon Xerneas. Groudon Xerneas, they've got a Charizard, of course. Incin and a Rillaboom, pretty standard. And the Indeedee. Amoonguss does really, really well into a Xerneas, which I like a lot. So I think I think maybe Amoonguss in the back. I think we go like a Thunderous Palkia lead. Try to get some instant speed control of Thunderous, dissuade them from leading Incineroar. And then Zacian and Amoonguss in the back. Zacian does have Substitute, so we could potentially Rage Powder into a sub late game if we need to, depending on what's left. But we'll see. Assault Vest Thunderous also should take some... You should take any attack from Xerneas really, really well, too. We'll see how this goes. TKT goes with just Groudon Charizard straight up. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, but why would lead Thunderous? Faster than the Charizard. Can get the instant speed control with that max Airstream. And we do survive with Thunderous, very crucially. Do survive a G-Max Wildfire off of Blast Burn and boosted by Life Orb. Yeah, so... I mean, if they want to give me Charizard this turn, that would be great. But... I think I'm going to split my damage here, though, because Charizard protecting or switching out feels really, really likely. They don't switch, so maybe you're protecting coming. And they may just max. They might just say... You know, they might just go for it, which is certainly a choice, but the Airstream followed up by Max Lightning next turn, we get the KO if they do max. And they do. Okay, I think that's the Charizard. Yeah, that is the Charizard gonna max, so... Yeah, you know, they could get a Wildfire up, they could just think that, you know, that chip damage is really, really important for their team. No protects on either side. So yeah, nice damage from the max Airstream. Definitely puts it within range for a Lightning next turn. Yeah, and Palkia with the Airstream boost is going to outspeed everything on the field. And that's definitely a crit, yeah. So a little lucky. Little lucky turn 1 here. We do just get the one shot on Groudon. But feels pretty good, and they are just going to Wildfire into my Thunderous. But we take that. We take that pretty well, all things considered. Because they're not Life Orb. Yeah, so we take that really well. We can follow up on that slot with a Max Lightning next turn. Well, you do have to take care of this Indeedee. Okay. You do have to take care of the Indeedee, but that's why we have the Max Darkness. So a Darkness... Charizard can't KO both this turn. And if we get a special defense drop, the Spacial Rend next turn should just pick up that KO. But I want to... Yeah, I want to force the Indeedee to click following. So I'm going to double into the Charizard. They do, though, that just makes, the most sense. But on the off chance that they, predict the double up, they're colder. So they're going to take this pretty well. But the special defense drop into the Spacial Rend should do a pretty good amount. Yes, we do just get a Spacial Rend off into that slot. And bye-bye Indeedee. Perfect. Perfect. And even if they Airstream this turn, our Thundurus is still fast. They just Wildfire into our Thundurus again, it looks like. Yep. So Thundee's going down. But they never Airstreamed. So our Zacian still outspeeds. And they're at -1 special defense. So a Spacial Rend, I think would get the KO here. Let's see what it's what the last is. I would guess it's Xerneas. Xerneas in the back would just make the most sense because it's the second restricted. It is. And so what we can do is ignore that Pokemon. Completely ignore the Xerneas. We know that... Oh man, that's the one thing. Palkia +1, I should outspeed Zacian. Yeah, Palkia +1 outspeed Zacian because we're not running that much speed. So our Palkia is the fastest thing on the field. So we are going... We're going to double up in the Charizard. Spacial Rend, I would think at -1 does get this KO. If it doesn't, and they protect with Xerneas, perfect. They protect with Xern. So yeah, I would think at -1 special defense, Spacial Rend does just get the KO, and it does. But just in case, there's 5% chance to miss if they were just a really bulky Zard. For some reason, we didn't see an item on it, so it could have been an Assault Vest. So we double into it just to be on the safe side. But of course, after the KO, Beyblade gets redirected into the Xerneas slot, and we are in a very good position to wrap this one up right here. As Behemoth Blade should get this KO, but Earth Power is going to go first. We click Earth Power there, it's 100% accurate. Just make sure we don't miss anything, and perfect. So that's a great start. Great start to the stream, 1-0 already. And yeah, the Groudon Xerneas team is really interesting, but especially into a Thundurus Palkia lead. I do want to see the item on that Charizard, because just max Power Herb on Xerneas makes a ton of sense. The Rillaboom is where the Assault Vest lives. We saw the Colbur on Indeedee, it's max defense, so yeah, even at max defense, not taking the max darkness from Thunder is super well. And Shadow Ball on there is a cool tech, the anti-Calyrex. Snarl on Incin. Yeah, this team doesn't really do too well against Calyrex if you can't get your Geomancy up. The Groudon, it is max HP, so we just got a nice roll there, and again, very lucky with the critical hit turn 1. That just put us immediately in a game-winning position. And the Charizard safety goggles. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I didn't really want to have the Amoonguss out for the Charizard. I wanted it more in the back for the Xerneas, but just in case, they have the anti-Amoonguss, anti-Venusaur more likely for the opposing Sun teams that they might run into. Another Hyper Offense team looks very similar to the team from, it was NJ11 and North. I used that in the February or March IC. The Calyrex, Shadow Rider, and Groudon. But it's good core, very offensive. One thing I have struggled with this team is a late game Groudon. So Instant doesn't feel great if they beat Charizard because they can just outspeed and just do a ton of damage. But the other option would be leaving Grimmsnarl. But if they go like a Lucky Calyrex, that just puts on so much pressure. And I want Instant just for the switchability, being able to kind of play around at late game. Screens in this game would be great, but I think the main priority is making sure that Charizard can't just go crazy on my team. So that's the Thundurus lead. I've got Palkia in the back to deal with a late game Groudon. Yeah, I would say probably about 90% of the time that I bring Thundurus, I end up using that as my Dynamax Pokemon. But this could be one of those situations, depending on what they lead. It is Calyrex Alecki. So yeah, this could be one of those situations where I save... Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is end up saving my Dynamax for Palkia late game. So what I want to do here is on these team comps too, a lot of times they've been using the physical Regieleki. So you can just get a max Airstream off pretty quickly, which actually works in our favor here because we do get the Intimidate turn 1. So Incin really isn't under too much duress here. They could go cheeky and try to Will-O-Wisp my Thundurus turn 1, which is fine, which is another reason I don't want to Dynamax right away. I also don't really have a great switch in. So I think what we do is we try to foul play the Calyrex, break a potential Focus Sash, just do a lot of damage. There's a chance Thundurus doesn't even get to attack this turn if they like max Alecki and go max Lightning into there. But if we can either knock out or take this Calyrex down to its Focus Sash, they protect Alecki. Okay, so if they just Astro Barrage, I'm in a pretty good spot. Because even if they're choice specs, we take that with the Assault Vest on Thundurus. But yeah, we take that super well, and this is just going to be bye-bye Calyrex, which is huge. That Pokemon gives me a ton of trouble just because it outspeeds my whole team. Perfect. So we just double into the Calyrex, knock that out. The Regieleki shows that it does have Protect, which, you know, makes sense. I've also been using the Assault Vest Regieleki that's come around lately too, that, you know, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's, you know, it's a good kind of like off-meta pick, but it still puts in a ton of work. You know, it does everything that you need Regieleki to do, is just speed control and hitting hard. The issue here now is what we do. I think Thundurus has to go down this turn because they could just, you know, Electroweb and do whatever. They can Electroweb and Gmax Wildfire into Thundy. I think we still target around the Regieleki. Our best damage into that's going to be like a Palkia Max Quake. And if they are physical, we still have that Intimidate drop on them. So we just double into the Charizard here. We go Wild Charge for damage and then just Parting Shot. I don't, unless they double into, you know, unless they go like Electroweb plus Max Airstream, potentially KOs Incineroar. But if they do that, then Thundurus is going to get off... Yeah, that wouldn't be great. Because Thundurus is going to get up a Wild Charge, but we would faint to the Wild Charge recoil, which is not ideal. They're just going to Volt Switch. So Volt Switch into Incin, I think that's fine. Because, once again, you know, you're not KOing both. So I either get a huge chunk of damage with Wild Charge off on your Charizard, or I get a Parting Shot, and it's Rillaboom, so no Groudon. Okay, that actually makes me a lot less scared of Charizard, with it not having the Solar Power boost. Interesting choice not bringing the Groudon, but yes, oh yeah, we still get the big chunk of Wild Charge because they don't Electroweb us, so we're just naturally faster. If they max Wormwind, it probably goes into Thundurus, maybe calling a Palkia switch in there. That, you know, would have made some sense, for sure. But just a Parting Shot here into the Charizard. So we drop their special attack. They don't have... What? I didn't see a Life Orb, I don't think. So Palkia is the easy switch in here. We just go back out to Incin in the other slot. The Rillaboom could do some damage. We do have to be a little bit careful about that. But, you know, the Intimidate drop's going to take care of that pretty well. Now, the question here is what they want to do. I think their options are max carve the Charizard, of course, and try to like Wood Hammer Palkia for damage. They could also, you know, Airstream the Charizard, try to outspeed, and also either Wood Hammer Grassy Glide with the Rillaboom. I think either of those plays make a lot of sense. I think attacking with Rillaboom as opposed to Fake Out makes a ton of sense. So I want to Fake Out their Rilla. And would I ever click Trick Room in this spot? I don't think so, because I expect to outspeed the Rillaboom. And I would love to knock it out, but I do just want to get this Max Geyser off into the Charizard. They could, you know, I think worst case this turn, you know, and that's how I conceptualize a lot of times. The worst case this turn is they do Max Guard with the Charizard and they try to Wood Hammer into my Palkia, but that's, you know, we cover for that with the Fake Out on the Rillaboom. And if they don't protect the Charizard, then we just go up 3-2, which is very nice. They don't protect. We do get the Fake Out. They might Airstream into the... No, they do just Wormwind into the Palkia. We should take that pretty well. Yeah. I saw Charizard... What? I guess it was yesterday. I saw Charizard with Breaking Swipe. I would imagine this is Dragon Pulse. I think Charizard gets that move. It is, you know, it is a special move. But yeah, so I would imagine Dragon Pulse. But I mean, based on that damage, you know, they are at -1 special attack, but they're -2 attack. That could have been like a physical Charizard. I think that's pretty likely. Even, you know, I'd say probably like a coin flip is physical Charizard with like Breaking Swipe or Dragon Claw. Based on how little damage that did. Granted, you know, we know Palkia is extremely bulky, and especially on the physical side. We're max HP with a decent amount of physical defense as well. Taking, you know, -1 play roughs, all that good stuff. Palk shouldn't go down to any attack here. I kind of want to switch Instant out just to get another Fake Out turn. 3 turns up to Grassy Terrain. I'm not really worried about that. And we've only been maxed for 1 turn. So I think just a Parting Shot into the Rillaboom. And we try to Quake the Alecki. Alecki here could be Focus Sash, or could Protect, which they do. Makes a lot of sense. But the Earthquake in Grassy Terrain is an interesting play. You're at -1, and it's lowered by Grassy Terrain, so you don't really do any damage. If that was a high horsepower, you know, they get the KO on Incin, but yeah, now I'm really not worried about Rilla because we have the Alecki now to half health. Rillaboom, after this Parting Shot's going to be at -2. We could also, you know, get a little bit cheeky and bring Incin back in, just double switch. But I think with Zacian here, we can just focus on cleaning up the endgame. The Incineroar, you know, can come back in if and when they KO one of my restricteds. But yeah, I think no Groudon here is really an interesting decision. I think if they bring Rillaboom, their best option is probably to max it. That's one thing. I took this team to the Secaucus Regionals back in May, and that is one thing that did give me a little bit of trouble. I ran some Zacian Kyogre matchups a couple of games in a row, a couple of matches in a row, and that is something that gave me a lot of trouble. Was the Gigantamax Rillaboom can just deal a lot of damage to the Palkia. But we are going to... Wormwind is going to pick up this KO. Doesn't really matter what I go for. The attack drop on Rillaboom is infinitely more important than a special defense boost. Behemoth Blade. Rillaboom can EV to live this attack pretty easily. Yeah. So that's, you know, they probably calced for that. Earthquake is going to deal a ton of damage to their owner, Alecki. It does do damage to Zacian, you know, even at -2, that still hurts Zacian a bit. Now, I am pretty quick just in general to think that things are holding Choice Band whenever they do more damage than I expect them to. but especially an Earthquake in grassy terrain. Zacian did take a pretty decent amount of chip from the Aleki's Volt Switch. We also saw Rillaboom's faster than Palkia, right? Yeah, because they moved before I got the other attack drop on them, so that's, you know, that's at least another interesting point. But the Behemoth Blade here is just going to finish things off, and just in case, you know, they Grassy Glide crit on Zacian here, we can Earth Power, and it's 100% accurate. But that's the game. 3-0 quickly here. Wow. Only been about half an hour. But I guess, you know, the one DC kind of adds to that. But, you know, whenever I talk about this later, absolutely just going to call it 3-0. You don't mention how you got the wins as long as you do get it. I do want to see their team. I'm curious. It is Choice Band Rillaboom. So I was right. I was right about that one. Feels good. So Choice Band Rillaboom, just max attack, max speed. So they outspeed my Palkia by like 3 points. That's not a benchmark that I would ever think to hit is, yeah, I want to outspeed max speed Adamant Rillaboom, but, you know, just interesting that it gets pretty close. But yeah, the attacks you would think. Earthquake, yeah, Earthquake is interesting. If they had high horsepower, I would have been a lot more scared of that end game. The Earthquake's cool for the spread damage, but because the base power is halved in grassy terrain, and then you get the nerf, it's 25%? Or actually, I think it's half again. Or no. You get half in grassy terrain, and then you get the 25% nerf on spread moves. You know, your Earthquake is, 75... Yeah, like 37.5 base power. That's tough. That's tough. But Choice Band Rillaboom still hits pretty hard. We do want to continue battling, of course, because, as we're going to see, right into Master Ball. 514, okay. Feeling pretty good about where we start in the ranks. I have no idea how they calculate where in the ranks you start. But, you know, a lot easier to find a battle in Master Ball, as we're going to face Tony here. Couple of dragons. They do have Tailwind with Tornadus. They've got the Dracovish, which is either Scarfed or Banded for sure. Regidrago, man. So this is a game where Zacian could put in a ton of work. Yeah, I like Zacian Rillaboom. I think, or Zacian Amoonguss, my grass type. I think Grim Palkia on lead, and then just keep Zacian and Amoonguss in the back. Feels pretty good. I think worst case here is they lead like maybe like Tornadus Dracovish. They're banded. They could just put Tailwind. But you know, I still feel pretty good about this. Feel pretty good about this because I think the Dracovish lead is a little risky on their end. But yeah, I think the Dracovish lead is a little risky on their end because of my Zacian. And this is where having Play Rough over Sacred Sword and Zacian comes in really handy. So it is just Torn Ogre, so we lead very well into this. Palkia takes care of Kyogre super well. And we can just get a Light Screen. Yeah, we can just Light Screen and Geyser into the Tornadus. Because if they do get Tailwind up this turn, I want to make sure they don't get another one up late game. So we Light Screen here. What, Kyogre could switch out into anything. The other idea would be to Wyrmwind the Kyogre. But yeah, I think I just want to try to focus down this Torn. They could be Focus Sash here. That would make a little bit of sense to me. But if they're Focus Sash, that means they're not going to be doing too much damage. Not like the Life Orb Tornadus we saw earlier. And Grimmsnarl should be able to knock it out next turn with the Spirit Freight. But it looks like they're just going to let it ride with Kyogre. Nasty plot. Oh no! So glad I'm targeting that Pokemon this turn. As we do get the light screen up, Kyogre probably just a Water Spout here for damage onto Grim. Or an Origin Pulse too. Does exactly half through the light screen because they're Life Orb. And let's see how much this Geyser does. If they're not Focus Sash, they're not. Cool, so they're Tornadus. Yeah, so we just get a huge KO that turn. They didn't, we deny Tailwind, which is very, very nice. Yeah. So that puts us in a great spot. Life Orb Kyogre is a little bit spooky. I do want to take care of that while Palkia is on the field. That's why you bring Amoonguss. Now here's the Rillaboom. We mentioned could give us a little bit of trouble. But Grimmsnarl here, I think the focus would be, get my second screen up. I would imagine Zacian's just in the back for them. We brought Amoonguss? Yeah. So what I want to do is get my Reflect up and Wyrmwind the Rillaboom. So I think it's more, yeah, because the Rillaboom's the more likely Dynamax option. Could have Wyrmwinded the Kyogre. There is again the chance though that they switch out to Zacian. And Max Wyrmwind into a Zacian just feels awful. But yeah, just got done talking about how G-Max Rillaboom can give me a little bit of trouble if I lean on Palkia. So good to see that kind of play out here. We do get the Reflect up, Origin Pulse, it's a roll. They do get it on Grimmsnarl, which is fine. We can just go out to Amoonguss. And the Wyrmwind, not another max speed Rillaboom. Doesn't do too much, probably Assault Vest then, but Reflect and now my -1. We are in a very good spot. Because this Drum Solo, I mean, Rillaboom still hits hard. But yeah, you see, that just does not enough damage. And the grassy terrain is helping us out a lot more than it's helping them, which is very nice. So if we go out to Amoonguss here, and what do we do? I think it's a Spore. Yeah, I think it's a Spore on the Kyogre, just in case, again, they switch out to Zacian. You punish that super heavily. And again, assuming there are Assault Vest on Rillaboom, they can't carry Protect, and we just get another attack drop there. Games like this where you can just play a little bit more straightforward are always a little bit more fun too. But yeah, it's just going to be an Origin Pulse. And it does crit. I was going to say, that looked like it did a little bit more. But now another attack drop on the Rilla. Might be a 3-hit KO. No, because this is our last turn of max, so it's not going to KO. But that's fine, because Zacian the next turn should just take that out. Flutterby into Palkia. Yeah, absolutely not. So I got Sleepy Kyogre. Don't have to worry about that slot. And they are Life Orb. So what we can do... I don't... I definitely Seed Bomb onto the Kyogre this turn. Because especially in grassy terrain, that should be a 2-hit KO. And now there's Zacian in the back. It's a little bit spooky. I am just going to Spacial Rend. A little bit more damage on the Rillaboom. I'll always go for the crit too. I think they're, you know, if we get a crit that does KO. We don't though. And a Max Quake. Popping into Palkia. Yeah. But does not get the KO. Perfect, because that's their last turn of Max. So if Kyogre's asleep next turn too... As well, the damage from Amoonguss, I don't have any attack investment. That's just how hard Amoonguss hits on the physical side. Because Kyogre is a lot more specially bulky than physically. And because we're in grassy terrain. So their max ends. They can Grassy Glide into my Palkia. But that's fine. Because I can Seed Bomb. And does Glide even KO? We still have Reflect up. They're at -2 attack. I am mostly okay with Palkia going down this turn if they do get the KO with Grassy Glide. But I think there's a chance that Glide doesn't KO. They also just switch out hard into Zacian. They save the Fake Out turn. So that's a position where I could have clicked Earth Power into that slot and just gotten really good damage. But now... They reset the attack drops on Rillaboom, so Grassy Glide will almost certainly KO. They can Fake Out Palkia and Behemoth Blade Amoonguss. Which I'm going to protect Amoonguss. We're going to protect, and if Palkia goes down here, it's a bummer, but it's fine. Question is, yeah, I think it's Earth Power on the Zacian. Just in case Palk does get an attack off, this game definitely isn't over. But having Amoonguss alive for one more turn is going to be really big here, as they just protect the Zacian. So if I had clicked Earth Power... Yeah, they do just Grassy Glide into Palkia. That does get the KO, so it doesn't matter anyway. They at least don't see where I was targeting. And they lose their priority because grass is gone. So let's think about this now. High Horsepower and Rillaboom is probably a 2-hit KO on Zacian. Air Zacian just protected. And they are, again, we're assuming Assault Vest. They can't protect on Rilla. So this turn, Amoonguss will live a Behemoth Blade from full. We Rage Powder to take away their Behemoth Blade. We Beyblade into their Rillaboom. And we should have this one in a pretty good spot. Imprison. Okay, okay. Oh no, okay. But the high horsepower miss. The high horsepower miss is pretty clutch. Okay. So let's see what moves we can click. We can't click Protect. So we know that they are Behemoth Blade, Protect, and Prison. They have to choose one last move, and it's either Play Rough or Sacred Sword. So we Spore their Zacian this turn. Actually, we still... No, we Spore. We Spore, and we see if we can click... We can... Yeah, we can click Play Rough. So that's going to be our damage into the Rillaboom. A Behemoth Blade, either one of our Pokemon will live this hit, as it does go into the Amoonguss. And yeah, we take that pretty well. They're probably max speed, a little bit of bulk. We do KO the Rillaboom. Okay. Now, this is where it gets awkward. Because how long does Imprison last? Light Screen is gone. Oh, yeah, and with Light Screen. So they're probably just max. Because we still have Reflect up, yeah. Okay, cool. So how long does Imprison last? Is it just the rest of the game? If that's the case, then we are in a pretty tough spot. So let's Seed Bomb, and I don't think going for a sub here... Yeah, I don't think sub here really does too much for us. Because we have to do damage at some point, and we are already going to get 2-hit KO'd by their Behemoth Blade once it comes out. So they are the fastest thing on the field. We get a play rough. We have to hit play roughs, and that's pretty good damage. Okay. So this isn't lost. This definitely isn't lost. Seed Bomb does a lot. Reflect wears off, so we are... I think we are going to need another turn of sleep. I think if we get a 2-turn sleep, we should win, but just in case, let's Rage Powder with the Amoonguss. Let's play rough again. I hate having to rely on hitting play roughs. We can Rage Powder with the Amoonguss. They do stay asleep, so if we hit 2 play roughs, we hit 1, that's probably a crit. Nope, it just does that much damage. Nice. Okay, perfect. I think it was a 2-hit KO anyway. So now we just have to hit 1 of 2 play roughs, because we can Rage Powder again this turn, and play rough again. Wow. We don't even have that much attack investment on our Zacian. So yeah, they must be running max. That's the thing, and the 3-turn sleep I think just about seals it up, because we get 3 chances now to hit a play rough. But we don't miss, come through and get the win. Okay, that's huge. That's very nice to be able to find a way out of that. The surprise Imprison on Zacian. There was the Zacian Xerneas team running around that had the Imprison Zacian with max speed that was just meant to beat other Zacians, which it looks like this one was too. But and they are Assault Vests, so we did get that correct. Lacan Berry on Tornadus. The Nasty Plot's crazy. That Nasty Plot was so scary. They did have Taunt, so they didn't go for it, but that is one of the reasons why we have the Mental Herb on Amoonguss, is to deal with the taunts. Kyogre, 4-attack Life Orb. The Ancient Power, anti-Charizard, anti-Shedinja. Who was it? It was Chef VGC, I think, tweeted out a screenshot of this spread, talking about the impact that Shedinja's had, but the max speed Dracovish. That is good to know, too, that max speed Dracovish does outspeed my Palkia. I assumed it probably would if they're jolly, but it's good to get that confirmation. And a Specs Regidrago, so they're both choiced. And the last but not least, Zacian, max speed, max attack with Behemoth Blade, Sacred Sword, Imprison, and Protect. Okay. Now this team, I don't know if it's the exact same one, but Cybertron and Moxie boosted. We're both using a Gigantamax Lapras with a Weakness Policy Groudon. So this is probably something like that, as Lapras is weaseling its way back into the metagame. So again, Thunder's Palkia is generally my go-to lead into Sun teams with Charizard, and I think Thundy just does really, really well into pretty much their whole team. Instant in the back, and Zacian feels good. Grimmsnarl is interesting for, we could get late game screens of our own, because we could end up maxing Palkia in this one. You could also get some speed control and Thunder Wave their Zacian, but I think Instant is just a little bit more consistent. I ran into this, I don't know, it's not the exact same team, because the one that I played, I think, had a Regieleki over the Rillaboom. But it was a very similar team composition that, in the end game, it was down to pretty much my my Incin and Zacian just, you know, Incin cycling in and out, just getting as many Intimidates down, as they do go Groudon Lapras. They do go Groudon Lapras. Now, one of these two Pokemon almost certainly has a weakness policy. Groudon protecting here, I think, feels really likely. To try to bait out a Water-type move from Palkia and activate their weakness policy. So if we just double into Lapras... So I think Dynamax Palkia is very, very strong here. If this is the lead, maybe Incin in the back, definitely Zacian. I think Dynamax Palkia here could do a lot. So we're just going to double into the Lapras. We're going to Wild Charge and we're going to Max Wormwind. Because if the Groudon protects, Palkia should be faster than pretty much every Groudon out there. And if Groudon protects, we just lower their attack. We don't give them the weakness policy, which would be very, very nice. And we'll see how this one goes out. Gigantamax Lapras turn 1 also feels likely from their end, but both of my Pokemon should outspeed. We should get some pretty good damage off immediately. And they are going to max. I would think it is the Lapras to try to get the screens up. But it's the Groudon. So if they're maxing Groudon, we should be able to just knock out the Lapras here, unless they protect. But if we can knock out Lapras turn 1, I think that just feels really good. They don't protect, we Wild Charge. That does a lot. We don't see weakness policy there. And we just max Wormwind to get the KO. Perfect. So we get a nice KO turn 1 on the Lapras. Groudon now quickly to -1. They do Quake into Pulk. That shouldn't do too much at -1. Yeah. Perfect. We take that really, really well. We take that super, super well. And out into Zacian. Now, the play against Zacian is usually switch out into Incin for the Intimidate, we live the player up, and get the KO with Max Quick. Are they baiting me into clicking a ground move because they have Charizard in the back? If they max Groudon, that tells me probably no Charizard. So we go out to Incin, we get Zacian to neutral, we get Groudon to -2, and max Quake into the Zacian. And even if Zacian protects here, you know, we do run the risk of taking more damage into Palkia, but Groudon would then be at -2. And if Zacian protects, we have to fake out turn next. But yep, they just Behemoth Blade. That's going to go into the Thunder slot most likely, which will hit the Incin for negligible damage. Not negligible, but not much. And we do just get the Max Quake. Unless they're max HP, this is a guaranteed KO. And if they are max HP, it's about a 60%. So pretty safe play. On compositions like this, they're usually, if not max speed, pretty close to it. So we do just knock out. We turn this into a 4v2 pretty quickly, and the biggest bonus about that is these attack drops on Groudon are going to stick, which is very, very nice. And our Palkia being faster means that next turn, we can swap Incin back out. We can just Wormwind into presumably their Incineroar in the back. Actually, if it's Incin, yeah, if it's Incin, I don't know. This is one of the calcs that I feel like I should know a lot better than I do. I don't know if... So it's definitely Thunders this turn. And I don't know if a Max Geyser in Sun knocks out an Incineroar from full. I don't think it does, so we are just going to Wyrmwind into that slot. Because all these attack drops are sticking now. And that's the beauty of Palkia. You know, even running max HP definitely helped us out here. As smartly they don't fake out the Incineroar just going for damage. I would think Geyser probably does KO if Wyrmwind does that much. But we know, you know, Instant's now at -1, Groudon's at Groudon's at -3, and they max Quake into the Thunder switch in, which is, you know, another reason why we switch into Thunderdare. Yeah, perfect. So we stall out their Dynamax really, really well. As well as, you know, again, where I was going with that last thought was, you know, one of the big things that Palkia can do is just, you know, absorb damage on its end. As, yeah, you see the +2 special defense doesn't look great for me. I do think I want to get some damage down on Groudon ASAP. So let's Foul Play into that slot. Oh, actually, no. What am I thinking? Foul Play's going to do nothing. Yeah, let's Brick Break into Incin then. That should KO. And let's just Spacial Rend there. Yeah. I'm just on autopilot a lot of times, clicking Foul Play because it's generally my best damage. But the Brick Break will KO the Incin. And yeah, Palkia just absorbing damage, KOing any non-max Pokemon really, really well. And yeah, that's, you know, +2 special defense. Might not even be Assault Vest, it could just be that bulky. Because again, we don't have too much special attack investment on Palkia. But at this point, you know, 4v1, I don't think there's too much that they can really do in this position. So we can Brick Break. Palkia is at... Oh, yeah, so I don't think there's Assault Vest. Palkia is at -1 special attack. So yeah, let's just switch out Palk. Go into Instant again. Another Intimidate never hurts. And we reset the special attack drop, but yeah, I don't think there is any way we are going to lose that after the stellar start to the game that we had. Still a good day. Still 5-2 overall. Still had a great time. Doing a little bit more playing with the team. Got back to Master Ball. This will probably be one of the last times that I record with this team, but just have the rental code back up onto the screen for you. And see, you know, I like it. I think this is definitely my favorite team that I've built this format in Series 12. You know, I've mentioned max HP on Palkia and Zacian, just so bulky. Can survive a lot of hits unless I'm already at 75% and it's a single target Precipice Blades apparently on Zacian. But have put in a ton of work. You can check that out. I just posted a video yesterday on my YouTube channel as well. You can find that at Lintymon over there. But yeah, you know, had a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining. It's been a great time, you know, getting a little bit of time in the indoor bike and getting some more experience here in Series 12. Not planning on going to any more in-person events, but you know, it's always fun to keep playing, keep the skills up, and again, just waiting for Gen 9. Super excited for November for that. So yeah, if you have, you know, anything else you want to say, you know, leave a comment on the YouTube channel. You can follow me. My Twitter's on the screen as well. A lot of fun. Reach out to me, connect with me over there. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.